This is part two of my WWE Sucks in 2016 video. There were several things, there were a couple of things I forgot to mention. The first thing I forgot to mention is the New Day. One of the main reasons I don't watch WWE. The New Day has to quite possibly be one of the worst gimmicks of all time. First of all, not only is this gimmick racist and stereotypical, and offensive. Secondly, it's not funny. It's forced. It's forced. It's forced and it's fake. Third, it's not even original. The gimmick is a rehash of the men on a mission gimmick from the early to mid 90s. Mabel and yeah, the Men on the Mission tag team from the early 90s. Then next, it's not even as good. It's not even as good as that. It isn't even as good as that. This gimmick, while the Men on the Mission gimmick was stereotypical, this gimmick was at least cool. These were two badass rappers. These right here are a bunch of lame gospel singers talking about bootios. Yeah. Why? And apparently now, they're faces now. They're faces now. They're faces now, and they're feuding with the League of Nations, another irrelevant tag team that no one cares about. No one cares about. Speaking of tag teams, no one cares about. The Dudley Boys wrestled the New Day on the pre-show of WrestleMania. You know what? I don't give a fuck because the Dudley Boys, they can kiss my ass after those disrespectful comments towards TNA. Yeah, Devon, Bubba, how's that working out? How is fixing WWE's tag team division working out? Yeah, you were cool and relevant in TNA, now you're boring and irrelevant in WWE. And the tag team division still sucks. Still sucks. Yeah, how are you gonna rebuild the tag team division? The Hardy Boys are still in TNA. Edge and Christian, Edge and Christian are retired. Two of the tag teams you made your name wrestling with, um, Balls Mahoney and Axel Rotten are dead. So you can't ever like bring them back. And Tommy Dreamer and Rhino are no longer in WWE. So how are you gonna bring back tag team How are you gonna bring back tag team wrestling and make people care or want to tune in? Want to tune in, man? That's what you get. That's what you get for kissing WWE's ass and those disrespectful comments towards TNA. Like I said, I don't care. I don't care if WWE buries people like the Dudley Boys. People like the Dudley Boys or AJ Styles. I don't bury. I don't care if they bury. But I did have one problem early this year when I was watching some of AJ Styles' matches. AJ Styles matches. I remember on one episode on SmackDown where Jerry the King Lawler, Jerry the King Lawler and JBL were saying crap like AJ Styles has to prove himself. AJ Styles has to prove himself. AJ Styles has to prove himself. And to tell you the truth, this really didn't piss me off. What pissed me off was that the Indies, most of TNA, and Japan, these are when AJ Styles was actually pretty good. He was actually pretty good in these companies. He had lots of exciting matches and feuds. And you have JBL you have JBL and Jerry Lawler saying, "Oh, that's not good enough." He has to prove himself in WWE. He has to prove himself in WWE. Who gives a crap about WWE besides the diehard fanboys, the sheep, and the indie people, which WWE now has to cater to because you alienated the casual goers. You alienated the casuals. I can look at this and tell who actually watches this, who actually cares. That's why your ratings are low. And for anyone tries to make an excuse for their low ratings, look at the product. Who actually watches and think this is actually good? And like I said, I would be even angrier if it was a wrestler I cared about. I don't care if you bury AJ Styles. I can't stand the motherfucker. I hate AJ Styles as a character and as a person in real life. As a wrestler, I think he's pretty cool, even though he's been disappointing me as a wrestler lately too. But as a wrestler, I think he's pretty cool. As a character and as a person in real life, he pisses me off. He strikes me as a arrogant guy who thinks he's better than he really is when he really isn't. And I'm so happy that that attitude isn't in TNA anymore. And yeah, but I'll talk more about AJ Styles in another video. Um, um, I mentioned in part one the NXT problem. NXT still sucks. NXT still sucks. Will always sucks. Will always be the worst show ever. Who the hell would want to watch a developmental territory live on TV? It ain't on TV anymore. It's on the internet. And like I said, that NXT Takeover event was. I quit after the first match, the Austin Aries and Baron Corbin match. I quit after the match, and it looks like Baron Corbin is Roman Reigns 2.0. Another crappy big wrestler, barely wrestling Austin Aries in his first match had a job of that, and it was just a garbage match, man. It was just a garbage match. Austin Aries, after those epic matches he's had in Ring of Honor and TNA, that's his first match in WWE. Fuck you, WWE. And once again, why does AJ Styles get to have it all? AJ Styles is not even in TNA anymore. AJ Styles is not. He's not even in TNA anymore yet. Wrestlers like Austin Aries, Eric Young, they got a debut on NXT. AJ Styles got the debut at the Royal Rumble, got to wrestle at WrestleMania in his first year, and he gets to be a major part of Raw and SmackDown. The next problem I have with WWE, no characters. No characters, no good, interesting, compelling storylines that makes you want to tune in. The Raw. No good characters. Yeah, but there are a bunch of wrestlers I like, but for me it's both. You have to have wrestling talent, work rate, and character. It is both. It is both, not one or the other. And indie promotions, these indie promotions, these indie promotions, Lucha Underground, TNA, the international promotions, they have both. They have character development and they have wrestling. And they have exciting wrestling and exciting matches. Impact Wrestling probably right now is probably at its best when it comes to characters. And Lucha Underground is probably the best wrestling show on television right now. With Impact Wrestling being right close to it. Being second, right close to it. WWE, as always, is the worst wrestling program on TV. I can't even make it through the first match without getting mad and turning off the television or turning off the stream out of sheer boredom. And like I said, yes, low ratings. I heard last week's Raw got a 2.3 something. This one got a 2.20 something. It's not even football season yet. You're already getting low ratings. And problem I have with this is USA Network. USA Network. They have no accountability. They have the USA Network. They have no accountability. They have no standards accountability. WCW and TNA. If you see right now, if a certain company does not get the ratings it gets, they get canceled. You see that with WCW, and you've seen that with TNA on Spike TV and Destination America. Yet WWE, there is no accountability. They can get the lowest ratings ever, but USA refuses to pull the plug or at least come down on Vince and make him improve the product. So it's USA's fault. WWE sucks too. But like I said, I'd be even angrier if I still watched and cared about WWE. And they don't deserve my sympathy. This is a company that has bashed the fans. They confiscated Young Bucks signs because the Young Bucks wouldn't sign with them. I heard from Wrestling Jesus they harassed YouTube user, the Boston fan. I keep forgetting his name, but the Boston fan who has diabetes. They took his insulin and his diabetes was spread everywhere. They kick wrestlers out for chanting certain names at a wrestling show. They confiscate signs. like I said, this company doesn't deserve my sympathy. It doesn't deserve mine or anyone else's sympathy. So I really don't care. I really don't care that much. Um, like I said, this was part two of my WWE rant. I just wanted to mention some things that I didn't mention in part one. All right, I'm done.